I have been ready forever. Like, I've been ready forever and, like, all nervous, and I didn't know I had to update my app.
It's okay. It's okay. It's always these updates. So no worries. So good to see you and so excited to have you today.
Um, I have to, like, just make a comment quickly about your top. It's so, so, so cute. I love it. I just had to say, like,
Thank
wow,
you.
it's so, you're just adorable.
Thank you. This is my birthday top, but I also felt like today is a special, exciting day. So
It is a
thought
super
I'd throw it
exciting
on. And
day.
it's Friday, so cheers everyone. Happy weekend. Hi to everyone on right now. So yeah, I was kind of just giving all of my praises about you and the deck. I've totally
Okay.
stalked you, stalked your website because I'm on the pre-order list for the next release.
Oh, get
And
out.
yeah, of course. And I was telling everyone you have that really awesome YouTube video, kind of showing the deck. So would love to, and there's some really cool features. I didn't give any spoilers about what you shared in that video, but totally want to
You
hear all
can.
about it. And yeah, I guess we can start with how did you come up with the idea of Not So Mystical Tarot, and like what was your inspiration as you created it, and what is its purpose?
Well, I'm kind of a straightforward sort of person. I don't know. I mean, I love the woo-woo. Like, don't get me wrong. I love it all, and everything being sparkly and all of that. But I'm a very blunt person. And the thing is, the original Rider-Waite deck, I never felt it. I was like, I thought it, I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud. I thought it was ugly. And like the art, I was like, ooh, I had one, and I would look at it, and I would read the book, and I would try to memorize what it meant. And some of them kind of make sense. I have it, I love it now. So I can, like, absolve myself of the guilt because I love it now. But, like, the Six of Wands, you can see, like, this guy's happy, like, good stuff is happening, victory, whatever. But it's because it's not from our era. It's kind of hard to get it. But I styled my deck after the Rider-Waite, so that way you could read any Rider-Waite based deck with it, but it's just a little more modern, and it's just kind of super straightforward. But, like, don't get me wrong, even though I'm not so mystical, I do love the woo-woo. I big time love the woo-woo, and I would like burn sage and run around and do, like, all of that stuff, but I just don't. I do have, like, my super creepy, spooky candle. Those are the gifts. Like, see, this is about as
I love
creepy
it
and,
with
like, not. It's
that wallpaper. I love it.
it's just like it's really not very mystical. It's rubber. But you know what I mean? Like, that's me. Like, I'm like, I want to be. I am in my head. I see myself, like, sitting in the desert, like, under the full moon with some, like, fireflies, but really I'm, like, in my jammies, in my slippers, in my bathrobe, like, whipping cards around. That's really who I am. So I just
I
wanted to
love
make
it.
tarot, like, a little approachable. The Rider-Waite is a foundation of everything we do, but it's just, I think, for sometimes new readers and even people that have read for a long time, it's just hard to connect with it. It's just because it's so weird
It's
looking.
also a little masculine, would you say? I feel a
Yeah,
little masculine
definitely.
energy out of that deck for sure. Yeah. And I have to
Yeah.
agree with what you said about that was, I mean, it's pretty much everyone's first deck, right? It's kind of like the standard,
Yeah.
right? And I was so overwhelmed, to your point. And one of the things that you hit on when you were talking about your deck in your video was the use of intuition versus going through a book. And so I was
Yeah.
mentioning the guide cards in your deck a little bit,
Oh.
and would love for you to talk about those.
Well, I tried to just make it easy. Like I said, the same thing you said with the book. You pull a card, and now you've got the book, and you're trying to go through the book and not look like an idiot. And your best friend is like, "Tell me something," and you're like, "Hold on," and you're going through the book. So this way, I have these little guide cards, and there's, like, one for, I'm trying to make that, there's, like, one for each suit, and it gives you the rundown. Like, there's cups there, and swords, and it just gives you, like, a one-line, quick little reference to what that card means, and the look of the card and the way the card, the things that are on it, kind of tell you that. And I have a couple friends here that I said, what do you think this card means? What's this look like to you? And they were like, oh, this person's confident, or this person's, so they got it just from the look of the card. But it also, like it, cups kind of gives you the compassion, your vibrational field, conscious energy, emotional well-being. It sort of gives you the feel of each suit, and you can kind of like, lay them next to your spread all sly-like, and you won't feel like such a newbie, like you won't be like looking through the book and everything. You can just kind of like, be mystical and glance over and be like, oh, that's what that means, like, but you still look like you really have it together. And I just thought it was easier than flipping around through a book, just for me. And
I totally agree.
Like I said, you want to read for your friends, or you get your deck and you're like, okay, let me practice on you. And then you get this little book and you're trying to read it, understand it, and then like say something that makes sense to people. And it's so hard. I don't know. I just want to make it approachable.
Totally. I love that because it's also kind of interrupts the energy of, or even a reading for yourself when you're like, you like take your time, you pull your cards, and even like an easy 3-card pull, like a past, present, future reading, for example. You're like, okay. And then you I mean, for me, when I still kind of like straight go for the book because I feel so not confident in myself sometimes. And then it's like, oh, and now I'm reading, and now I'm overanalyzing, and now I forget what I read, and I'm not looking at the artwork on the cards to actually use my own gut to tell me what it means, right? So right, and you'll see that too on the and if you've seen and stuff from my account, you've seen like the cards they're pretty. A lot of them are pretty straightforward. Like, oh my gosh, like we got here like our Knight of Wands guy. Like you're just not going to say no to him, right? He's all like he's all like Rico Suave, leaning in front of the fire. I mean, he's got a cat. So it's like he's got a cat and a fireplace, and he's all shadowy and cozy. It gives you that kind of feel right away, because the Knight of Wands is like super charismatic. You can't say no. Everybody sort of, he's pretty forceful, and you're like, well, there is a fireplace. It's cold out, and he's got a cat. So okay, it gives you the feel. You kind of get the feel of what's going on by looking at it instead of having to get the book. Or like I said, creating this deck actually made me fall in love with the Rider-Waite, because I was like, it finally all clicked, and I was like, oh, but I could never get past the traditional art because it just was so different from what I liked. I don't know. Totally.
It sounds mean. Like I feel
in the comments, so
I feel like totally blasphemous. Like even saying that, like when I said like it's ugly, like I feel so guilty. But it's it's just not like people just don't wear boots like this. I mean, they just don't. They don't ride horses into town. It's not the same. I mean, okay. There are some people on Instagram who do seriously dress like that and pull it off and do their thing. They have like cards floating in the air, like on their stories, and I don't know how they do all that really cool stuff, but that's just, I just can't. It's just not me. I want to be that person.
I love it. So I have a couple people had questions. They were posting some hands raised. So if anyone has a question, if you can just put it in the chat, and then we'll totally have Jenn address. But I guess one of the other things that I thought was so cool was that you touched on, you have some hidden astrology in the cards, right? Yeah. Yes. It's like I forget because I think, whatever. But all the majors many of the majors represent different signs of the zodiac. So, like the Hierophant, you'll see the little symbol for Taurus kind of hidden in the big angel wing over there. You'll see Cancer, you'll see all of like Aquarius, you'll see the sign of Aquarius in the star card, but every card that represents a major, the astrological sign is hidden in there. It's not really hidden, it's just kind of not like the forefront, but it helps you learn, the Chariot represents Cancer. I didn't know that. I think just seeing the stuff over and over again helps you remember it, and the Rider-Waite doesn't do that. I mean, all the symbolism is there, but if you don't know the symbols, you won't remember it. So it's sort of a teaching deck, but anybody can read with it. Whether you read for a million years or whether you're just kind of starting out, you can read with the deck right away, and you can learn as you go along. So awesome. I didn't even know that when I started. I love it. It's so great because it's practical and it's welcoming, right? Someone asked if we could chat about the bonus card, because there is a bonus major card I was mentioning in the beginning, and I don't know if that's something it's a hidden secret.
No, it was, but it's out there now. It is called the rubber chicken, and there's kind of a funny story. My husband is a Virgo, and he is not a woo woo person, like by nature. It's just not his thing. He has over the years become like pretty supportive. You know, he's like, I don't really get what you're doing or what you're talking about, but if you're happy, you know, he doesn't like, he's not mean about it. He's just like, yeah, I have to go build something. So, you know, he's a guy, you know, he's like, whatever. But so one day he walked by as I was finishing up the deck, and he's like, well, what about the 77 of rubber chickens? Like, where's that card? What's that card mean? And I was like, oh, there's no 77 of rubber chickens. You know, you're kind of being a smart ass. And then I thought, well, you know, a lot of my friends are kind of pictured in this deck in different places. And I was like, I will make this card him. so we made a rubber chicken card, and one of the quotes that my husband's name is Gene, and one of the quotes that he always says is, sometimes life is just too ridiculous to bear. Like, you know those days when like stuff just happens and you're like you go out in public and like everybody's like driving at you. It's just like one of those days where you're like, I need to go home. It's kind of like one of those. And so that was my bonus card, is the rubber chicken, and it's just you know, I got it right here. It's just kind of, you know, there's a clown on it. I personally hate the circus. Don't like it. I hate clowns. I know that some people love them. They terrify me. I don't like them. What are they hiding from? I don't know. They're hiding something behind the makeup and the big shoes. I don't like them. So the clown's on here, the circus is on here, you got the rubber chicken, you know, there's kind of a guy that's sort of orchestrating all of the nonsense. And then I think there's like the brain down here, and it's like obviously like there's just no logical thinking will get you out of what's going on here. It's just one of those situations where you're like, forget it, you know, whatever. So this is the card for Jean, the rubber chicken. So
I love it.
That's where it came from.
So cool.
Some people have like, they have like the most beautiful bonus cards. And I could think of, who is it? I can see her, the Van Mystic. She has a really beautiful deck, and her bonus card is called the Womb. And it's like this most beautiful like woman, and she's floating, and it's so like amazing, and I love it. And this is my bonus card, the rubber chicken. You know, that's the thing. It's like you know, like, but I thought it'd be kind of cool, and he has been super supportive, even though he's like, whatever, you know, but he's been super supportive. So the bonus card is kind of for Jean.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's the whole thing. You got to put your personality in the deck, right? So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll hear it.
I love it.
You'll hear it in there.
So one of my other questions was just, how do you personally use tarot? Like, what does your tarot practice look like?
I actually really use it a lot. I've grown a lot, even creating this deck, because I took my big bad plaid, I call it, and I put it in order, and I went from the majors and then through all the suits, and so I just put it in order, and every day I would get, okay, this is my card now, and I would just work on that card. So I really got to know, this deck really well. But then the other thing I have, I bought the tarot planner from Owl and Bones Tarot, and it's something about the ritual of like in the morning, like we're super busy, you're trying to get to work, you got stuff going on, like everyone's hungry, and apparently you're the only person that can make food happen. So like you have all this stuff happening, and I take like 10 minutes, and I just get my coffee, and I sit there, and I write, I pull my cards for me, and I write everything down. And you know what, like at first it's kind of like tedious, like you almost feel like it's tedious to try to write everything, but now like that is like my time. It's actually really productive. I learn a lot, and even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes, it's like just something I do for me, and I love having that time for me. And I try, you know, I have other tarot stuff I do, but that is like just like my me time. And it's just, some people like to, you know, do different, you know, my husband doesn't journal things, you know, he doesn't write things, but he lets me just, you know, just do my stuff, which is really cool. I've never really taken a lot of time for me, but I really enjoy doing, everybody posts like really cool spreads. Like last month we shared everybody's spreads from all over, and I just really enjoyed kind of connecting with people that way. And I even have 2 in real life woo-woo friends that I met, which is super cool. So
that's amazing.
You know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I think you learn a lot about yourself. you really learn an awful lot about yourself, and that it's okay to take that time for yourself. Because I don't know, maybe that's a girl thing.
In a way, maybe that's not my interpretation, but I
Definitely.
I have such a strong like full moon, new moon spread practice. And so that's like, it becomes this really like sacred time, to your point. So it's really beautiful.
I'm learning the moon thing. I never have been like a huge moon person, but I'm really getting into the whole when you manifest, when you rest, when you plan. And I love it. Like I could do that all day. Like I could do all this stuff that we do here all day long.
Totally.
But
totally.
I have another job.
Yeah. Wild River Tarot was saying that it's all about self-discovery above anything. I couldn't agree more.
It is.
Siobhan was sharing that she had an amazing reading from you, because you also do readings.
I do. I know Siobhan. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. So we were going to, I don't know if we were going to hold it for a certain time, but I know that you were going to maybe pull some like general cards for the group. That would be amazing.
Sure. If people have questions, or you have a specific question, or you've got something, I've got it here.
Someone asked
more than happy to do
Aries energy, and if an Aries is having a tough time, because things have been going a little crazy. So maybe something kind of general about like what the energy is and kind of what's ahead for us all.
This week has been, the first 3 months of this year to me were just brutal. Like we kept trying to do this new thing, we kept trying to be in that new year energy, and no matter what you did, it felt like you just kept getting like run over by stuff. That's how it felt for me, at least. And this week we've been collectively letting go of a lot of things. And then today the collective had the tower come up. And I always say that's the universe's way of clearing things out. When you know you need to do something and you're not doing it, the universe just kind of comes in and rips it all down. So I'm really hoping, I don't know what we're going to get right now, but I'm really hoping that we kind of see a little bit of an upturn in the energy, because it's just been so heavy and stressful. And I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on, in the country. So I think that makes it. Ooh, there we go. I like when they jump out. That's a neat thing. And like 3 of them, I will shuffle forever until they start to fly out, but I got 3, so we'll see what we got here.
Lovely.
See, these are like super odd. This is one of my favorite cards, the 3 of Cups, because this is like one of the, like it's the feeling. See, like you get this card, and what do you feel like? You feel like you're out sitting with your girlfriends, having a coffee. You got a muffin, the cappuccino, whatever it is you like. But you're like, you get that, you see that 3 of Cups, and you get that vibe with your tribe feeling. So I'm seeing some of that this weekend. Now we can be in public with people a little, depending on where you live. I know my Canadian friends are like completely locked down. So, but you could do this, have a cup of coffee or tea with your friends, kind of hang out. And this is kind of, I'm an air sign, so I always notice all the sword things. But we do have this 8 of Swords, and it's kind of funny that it comes up with this, because, you get that, like, I think we've all been home so long. Like, she's kind of kneeling in front of the door, and like, she can see out the door, but she's not going anywhere. She's just sort of sitting there, like, it's almost like we've been home so long, we don't know how to go out and be people anymore. Like, we don't know how to sit and have a conversation with an actual human person that's across from us. We don't know how to, like, be polite to the waitress. We don't know. I mean, I'm seeing this now as, like, things are opening back up, how people just are not used to being in public anymore. They're not used to socializing, like, face-to-face with people. So, I mean, I'm seeing her. She needs to get up out of that house, okay? She needs to get out of the house and, like, vibe with her tribe, like, just a little bit, like, vibe with her tribe, get out. We got to go. And I think the thing, even for me, like, I've had years where I've worked at home for great periods of time, and you get to a point where you're almost afraid to go out. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you're just so used to being home in your little space that going out in public, like going to Walmart, you're like, ooh, there's people, and you get all weird. I think we need to, like, push ourselves out of our regular little boundaries, our COVID boundaries, and we need to get out, get outside, go do something this weekend, like go see people, go to an amusement park, go walk around a museum, go somewhere, get out. And then the third one we have is the Star. And, anything you want to be, do, and have, think big, think really big. I mean, maybe you can't go do all the big giant stuff this weekend, but maybe this is the weekend to look around, what are some of the things we want to do? Where do we want to go? Maybe plan a vacation, but think about something you want to do that doesn't involve you doing this. You know, sitting and staring outside, going, oh, those are other people get to go out, but I'm going to sit in here and be weird. You know, like, get out. And I do want to point one thing out, because like we have the star here. If you notice, she looks kind of, I don't know, she almost looks kind of annoyed in my, you know, and I kind of did that on purpose, because people have this vision of Aquarians that we're all like, you know, skipping through a field of like lavender and in like the flowy broomstick skirt, whatever. And in my mind, yeah, that'd be super. But honestly, I think sometimes we're just kind of like, she's just kind of like, oh, like sometimes I think it's just so hard to be always dreaming. Like we have these huge imaginations, but like Earth is kind of, you know, sometimes it doesn't, our big imaginations, we can't live up to them in person, you know, we can't live up to them in our day-to-day life, and it's just kind of a huge bummer. So I don't know if a lot of people don't interpret the star that way, but for me, being an Aquarius, and this is the card for Aquarius, so you see the water, the little water right there.
Very cool. I love how that's built in. Yeah, and I so agree with you. Everyone totally.
She's kind of like, and I mean, she even gives the exasperated look there, like, oh my gosh, I know I got to get out of this house. Like, I know I got to go do something cool and, like, you know, hang with my friends or do something fun and vibe with my tribe, but, like, fine, you know,
it's that hermit energy.
That's kind of, but I think we got to push ourselves out. I mean, we've got a weekend coming up, and if you've got a day off or even an afternoon off, maybe just, even if you go to the park or just go out, get out of the regular stuff we do. Like Walmart is not an event. Picking up your groceries is not like stuff that feeds your soul, you know?
Yeah, Siobhan was saying that's me all the way. Carla had said she actually pulled the Three of Cups for herself this morning. So that energy is so
that card.
Prevalent. Yeah, so.
I tend to like download the collective stuff like really all the time. So it seems to be prevalent.
Yeah. And I think it's great that it's a deck, and your personality is just so down to earth, because I think that like we can get stuck in this like ethereal place with tarot, and we can like be thinking like what, like the star card, like we can be aiming out here and thinking about our future in a really easy way. And so what I love about this deck and you and your personality as a creator is just that you're bringing it like to a practical place. So it's like, okay, what is tomorrow? Like, what are my goals tomorrow? And that's really what tarot at the end of the day is supposed to function as, right? It's supposed to be a tool to help you tap into like your energy and everything around you, right? Yeah,
I have a card in here. There's a whole group of like guide cards that come with the deck, and the one talks about like creating your own process. You know, I mean, sometimes we see other people, then they have this like I said, you see these cool setups, you know, and there's like candles and floating cards and spiders and all this neat. They get this altar that's like, you know, huge, and it's like really, really cool, and we're thinking, I can barely shuffle. Like, how am I going to make this all happen? And I talk here about that. Like, I just say, you know, create like your own process. Do what, if you put your hair in a wad and like on the way to pick up your cards, you stepped in like cat barf and you're like, oh, and the sink's full of Tupperware, but you're going to take 10 minutes for yourself and that's the time you've got. That's the way you can do your thing. Then just do you. Like, I don't care what you do. As long as you enjoy it, you don't have to have your practice meet anyone else's standards. And I see that so often. People just get like, well, I can't learn that, or it's not for me. And tarot is for everybody. You don't have to be a reader. You don't have to have a sign, and you don't have to have people come in and read for them. You can just use it for yourself, just for your pull one card in the morning and say, oh, that's my card for today. Okay, you know, you don't have to compare yourself to anyone. In this, there are so many cool accounts with like so many neat aesthetics, and you just look at them and you're like, wow, like where did they have that many different colored flower petals? Like, where did they come from? You know, do you buy it out? Like, I don't know where these come from, but I follow them all and I love them. And sometimes I save them and I'm like, okay, that's my little mini altar. Is this my little photo album of stuff that like someday I'll have, you know, dried lavender and things, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, we all aspire, you know, and I love that. Thing. Everyone loves that you're taking out the commercialized perspective and just giving out, dishing it real.
We're just trying to Yeah, we're just trying to just make it, I wanted it to be approachable for everybody. And I want anybody, I mean, I even asked Gene, my husband, Gene, I'd be like, what does this card mean? And he would be like, oh, and honestly, he could actually be like, oh, I think it means this. I think it means that. And I was like, okay. And he was right. So that's why once you go through this deck a few times, you start to remember everything. And then when you look at anything that's Rider-Waite based, you can read it because oh, that Seven of Swords, I know what that means. Because you can see in your head it. I mean, the one Rider-Waite, he's kind of creepy. He's got his sack and he's sort of looking around. He looks a little sketchy. But I try to make it really straightforward so that it really hits you like, oh, that's what this means. Like, and you get it really, really quickly.
Yeah. It's so great. It's so great. I'm so excited to get mine, by the way. So I know I mentioned earlier, but I know some new people have joined that this is the third time, right, that it's sold out?
It's the second, and this is the third printing. I don't know.
It'll sell out probably.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm like stunned just to begin with that like people liked it. I don't know. My friend Catherine, who I have a set pair of her earrings on. She has an account called Stellar Creature. She does a lot of jewelry stuff, and we're really good friends. She's also the name behind one of the really big tarot accounts, and I don't know if she's comfortable with me talking about that so much, but I sent her a couple pictures, and I'm like, hey, what do you think? And she was like, are you making a deck? And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. And she was honestly one of the people who said, you've got to publish this. Find someone to publish this. And I was like, well, nobody will want it. Like, who would want it?
She's
and she was like, everybody will want it.
Said,
I know she is.
Yeah. So.
Oh. She is half of the Owl and Bones tarot account. So they're pretty big. And I was like, I go, do you think so? Like you think somebody like want to see this? I don't know. You just think there's so many decks that are so like the art is so amazing, and I tried to like physically draw some of the cards, and well, that's just not how it just didn't work out that way for me. Just did not work out. So it was like if it hadn't been for her, I would never have published the deck to begin with. Not at all.
That's great. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think it's worth mentioning, because I heard this on your other feature video, that this is totally self-funded. Like, you didn't go through Kickstarter. Yeah. You were just like a woman on a mission, and you just did it. So I think that's pretty awesome.
I did self-fund it. And I've seen Kickstarter do great stuff. I've just seen some stuff be a little weird. And I mean, I think you can tell there's a lot of really, really great accounts now that I see on Kickstarter that are doing the things they say they're going to do. They're delivering the things they say they're going to deliver. And it's not that people don't, but sometimes it takes like years. And I think when somebody, funds a project that you're doing and it takes you like 2 or 3 years to deliver it, people, by the time they get it, they're like, oh, I forgot that thing was coming. I don't know. I just wanted it to be, it made me nervous because I thought, oh my gosh, what if something doesn't work out with the publisher? What if I don't like the quality? So I thought I talked to Gene about it, and I'm like, what do you think? And he was like, print the thing. He's like, who cares? He's like, and I was like, oh, I had myself so worked up over it. I was like, oh, and he's like, print it. He's like, order some, see what happens. And it worked out this way really well for me. I'm not like bashing people who do Kickstarter. That's cool. I just thought it was just one more platform. I just couldn't handle it. I just couldn't. I was like, I'll just do some pre-orders. We'll get a couple samples. And actually the deck I have here is so beat up because this is my proof deck. I actually sold the other ones, and I gave 2 away to a couple really deserving people, and so this is the only one I have left. And you can see it's kind of scuffy and faded, and because it's not really the one you guys will get. So you'll see in the pictures it's starting to look a little rough in the pictures. It's starting to look a little bit sad. But
I love it though. Well, that's a well-loved friend then. So. How many proofs did it take you, by the way, to get through? Like, what did that process look like?
About 4 or 5. I tried this like super thick, like high gloss print. It was like shuffling rocks, and the front was so glossy that you couldn't. It sounds stupid because we live an Instagram lifestyle. You couldn't take a picture of it because every light would like no matter what. Yeah, no matter where you were or like what box you stuck it under or what like weird contortion you had yourself in, there was always a spot or the phone reflected in it or something. So I went with just a game card finish, like a more of a matte game card finish, but I did upgrade the paper stock a couple because, we've all gotten those decks where you get them and they're so flimsy and bendy that, you're afraid you're going to snap them in half or you're going to crease them. So this is it's just a medium card stock. It's not super cardboard thick. So, but it is not shiny.
I think that's
super
shiny, by the way. Yeah, I don't.
It was shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they had a linen finish too. I tried the linen finish because I was like, oh, that's fancy, And it was for this deck in the art. It was too. The only word I can think is lumpy, but it's so beautiful, but it wasn't shuffleable, and it didn't. With the way the art was, it just looked really funny. I didn't like that either. So, but I was able to give those couple away to a couple people here that I found out were like part of the woo-woo crew. And where I am right now is a not really a woo-woo friendly kind of place. So running into two people who were kind of like really super woo-woo, I was able to like say, they heard that I had a deck because Jean told them. So I had those couple samples and I gave those out, and that's been kind of nice. And because they don't use them all the time and they don't take pictures and put them on Instagram, it didn't really matter for them. They didn't care if it was shiny or not shiny,
Yeah, but you got some like trial feedback, and Stellar Creatures
definitely.
Dream, so that's good to hear. That's such an important thing, right? Because I think the physical connection with your deck is really important. Like I have a couple in my personal collection that I don't use a lot because I don't like how they feel. It's like, because like for me, physically touching the cards is a lot of how I connect with them too. So I think that's super important. And it's funny, one of the other questions I had for you. So when I started pulling tarot for myself, and my friend Carla, if she's on here, she knows because we've done this many times out and about. But often I would spread the entire deck across the table and like I would really get into it and I would like really like run my hand across and feel energy and like that's how I would pick my cards. And I got really stuck in that. And it was like a big turning moment for me when I kind of did what you were talking about earlier, which is like shuffle the deck, intuitively know when that shuffling is done and when you feel like it's ready for you, for your message, and ask the universe your question or kind of like think about what you want to know and then just start pulling off the top. And that was like a very freeing moment for me.
Yeah. Oh, we get stuck in a pattern where, we think, okay, this is the right way to do it. I have to do this the right way because, you see this person does it that way, or you see somebody, and like I said, you could be like there's times like I'm at work and I have a little mini deck in my work bag, and I'll be like, I'm on the floor, like over here, and I'm kind of like, just because like there's just times you just got to pull a card out and you're like, oh, two pentacles, and you feel way better. So sometimes it isn't such a pretty process, but like I said, sometimes you may step in cat barf on the way to get your deck in the morning, to get your coffee, and whatever. It's easy to get really, really stuck in like a ritual.
Yeah. And I think this deck is perfect for just like breaking out of that ritual too and just like stop, like get off book and like just start to like feel what it means and like use it, like make it a practical thing. So I love it. So I guess just to clarify for everyone, the best place to pre-order decks, third print, is on your website, correct? At this point?
Yeah, there's a link right on my profile. Yeah, it takes you right there.
I'll be posting the link as well. And I'm also going to share this like YouTube video as well that you did because I thought it was really well done. And it just gives a little bit more insight and talks about a lot of what we hit on today. So yeah.
I know, because I'm super rambly.
No,
super rambly.
Not at all.
I'm so nervous. I might die, but like, let me not shut up. I'm so nervous, but.
No. And so I'm going to do the quick drawing, just a quick intermission here.
We
did a giveaway, and I have my hat covered with my dog's hair.
Can't see it.
I know, right? So we had people enter for a giveaway with a reading with Jenn, like a personal reading. So I'm gonna mix it and pull. And it's just Jenny Reese is our winner. So I will,
Cool.
if she's on, say hi. Otherwise, I'll obviously post it and, you know, you guys can connect.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Jenn is also a very talented reader as well. So
Thank you.
it's just, yeah, it's so great to have you on and get your feedback. So I wanted to open up the floor if anyone had any questions for Jenn specifically about tarot in general, about the Not So Mystical Tarot deck, about kind of tips and tricks. Any questions?
Or just like weird, anything, like just weird questions I'm down with, you know, like just weird stuff.
Totally. So
I can throw down the super interesting info that I like. Then I don't post this stuff on my Instagram page because it's not I don't know. I don't want to say it's not my business, but I just became a grandma, so I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I'm gonna be going back to the East Coast to meet him so soon, and I'm so excited. I do not know if my daughter is on here. She might be. I'm not sure. Depending on what she's got going on. She was maybe going to be here, but I did not post him on my Instagram page because I don't know. I just think she posts him on her page, but that's her Instagram, and we have different followers, and I don't know. I just didn't know if it was appropriate, so.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm
yeah,
Greek,
he's
and
super cool.
It's funny. So my dad's side is Greek, and so my cousin who had a baby in Greece, it's like they don't like to show the face of the baby. It's like bad luck. Yeah. So every single post, it had like a big emoji on its face or like a big heart. Yeah.
A lot of parents do that, and I don't really have an issue with that.
I think it's great because it's energy, right? So if you don't feel comfortable with like this tiny little being that doesn't even know what Instagram is yet, like I think that's fair to have a little privacy.
Well, like his mom can post pictures of him, but I don't know. She and I haven't talked about it specifically, but I just don't know if she wants him on my page just because there's a lot of people like on there that she doesn't know. And I saw my friend Catherine asked how Edgar was, and Edgar's actually here. There he was. Isn't he so cute?
Oh,
his name is Edgar.
I love it.
He's a tiger. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
That's what I was saying. I have two woo-woo friends here, and I opened my door like one day last week, and Edgar was sitting on my step, and I was just so excited because
so cool.
Where I am right now is not really like super woo-woo-ish. So it was like I opened the door, and I've always wanted one of those. Always. I've never gotten one, and not because like I didn't see one. I don't know. I never got one, and he was on my step, and it was just really, really cool. So
that's a nice surprise.
Edgar's awesome.
Well, next time we chat, I have the same size, but in quartz. So I'll bring it down.
Cool.
Yeah. I have a normal crazy crystal room, but I decided to keep it low key. So I'm in my faux kitchen right now. I'm in the middle of a kitchen renovation, and this is my dining room. It's also my kitchen. So I think I accidentally put the camera and saw you how ugly it was, but yeah.
It wasn't ugly. It was clean, and it had a very pretty floor. So.
Oh, thank you.
I get that.
We finished those too. So.
Oh well,
yeah,
I lost my tarot loft a couple years ago. I had and our son went to the military, so he was gone, and he had this cool 2-story room, and part of it was the attic, so when he left, I had this like little nook upstairs. It was like my tarot loft. The wall was painted perfectly. All my stuff was up there, and I lost all of that when we sold our businesses and our house in 2019, and we left to travel, and we work like 7 months a year, and then we have a few months off. So we actually live in our Class A RV. So I lost my whole tarot loft. So you'll forever hear me bemoan the loss of my tarot loft. I will never be over it, but
it sounds like
cool.
a very cool place that you need to like create like a brick and mortar business place, like that people can go.
The tarot loft.
The tarot loft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to go to the tarot loft for sure.
Yeah. You know what? That's so cool. I never thought about that. Maybe we need a tarot loft down here. I'm about 6 miles away from Mexico. This is where we are right now. in Yuma, Arizona. So it's like
Very
super
cool.
warm here and
I'm
beautiful and
jealous.
sunny and
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey.
yeah.
It's spring, but it's still
It
you need some
is.
ice. Yeah, yeah. So
Oh
I
yeah.
prefer like scorching heat. So so this is still
It
cold.
is. You will have that here. In the summer,
I
it's about
appreciate it.
120. Yeah, it's about 120 in the summer. It's pretty hot.
Wow,
We're not
wow.
going to be here. We were here last summer, but we're not going to be here this summer.
Where
So
do you go?
this summer we're going to be.
Do you stay on the West Coast
Uh,
normally, or do you kind of go all over?
last summer with COVID, we didn't travel. We stayed here, and we actually we worked a little bit. I had some stuff to do here, and Jean had some projects, and I also worked on the deck last summer.
Ah,
But this year we gotta get back to see that baby. So we're going to go back to New York this summer and do some other
oh.
traveling,
Where
and
in New
then
York, by chance? Like what area? Is it near the city or?
Rochester.
Oh, okay. So I'm in New Jersey.
Rochester. We're
Yeah,
upstate.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I had a friend
Yeah,
who
we're
lives
in
in
upstate.
Rochester. Yeah, it's at least a nice time of
Do
year to go
you?
to Rochester. Yeah, yeah. I worked with a girl who lived right
Yeah.
from there, and she always had to travel, and she complained about the airport. So she said it was like, you can't go
Well,
direct, right? So it was a little tough,
no,
but
no. Rochester is just, yeah, it's an interesting place, and it's okay to visit. But I don't want it to snow anymore. So,
and we got a
we've
lot
grown,
of
we're
snow.
over the snow. Yeah,
Totally,
no,
totally. We
we're
got
over the
so
snow.
much.
So,
Yeah. I bought a house and then it snows like feet and feet and feet. And of course, it's like,
yeah.
universe is like, oh, hi, you think you're fancy? Go out and shovel. So,
I
but
see my
yeah.
friends on here from Two Guys RVing. He says your Class A is the tarot loft, and you know what? It's to the point where it's becoming that way. Like I have drawers full of decks, and I have like drawers full of rocks and crystals. So like I pull everything out in the morning, and then I have to put it all back away because you can't drive somewhere with like
Good
giant. Like
point.
my one friend brought me this. Like you can't have like this is a projectile. This would hurt people. She brought me this the other day. Within a week, I had two different woo-woo friends bring me something like really neat and cool like that. So,
That's awesome.
and my
That's awesome.
Two Guys RVing know that you know who that was too. You know exactly who that was because it was your across the street neighbor. So we manage an RV park 7 months out of the year.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
yeah,
think like so many people are jealous of that lifestyle because it's like just like paring down everything to what you need and like getting rid of like it's like spring cleaning but
yeah.
on steroids for,
It is,
yourself.
and yeah, it is. It's actually really cool. I can't believe we actually did it. I really can't. But yeah, we just took off. We were like, enough is enough. But we're young enough that we still want to work. So we work
That's
like seven
awesome.
months out of the year, and then
And now
I
and
get
now
to
like
tarot all
everyone
the
has
rest of the time.
yeah, and now everyone has like this just more they have more freedom, right? That's like the silver lining of this whole
Yeah,
crazy situation, right? It's like you can go, I'm going myself, like traveling and working remote and so it's a blessing, right?
yeah.
To be able to see new things and meet new people.
Super cool. This summer we're gonna get to travel a little bit more, so I'm really excited because we didn't get to travel much the first year, and last year we didn't travel at all. So it'll be nice. We're done. We're April 30th. We're done, so we'll be on the road like beginning of May, which is
Cool.
pretty exciting.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, post pictures of that so we can see like all
Yeah,
the
I will.
stops along the way.
I have another account that's just like here we are in our RV being dorky account. So like I post over there, type egg on a stray. It's like a real little teeny account. Like, so my family was like, where's the pictures? Where are you? So we made a little small Instagram for them to, check out or whatever.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how many decks can
But,
you fit in your RV? Just curiosity.
uh, well, I have under our little table, my husband put in a little drawer system. So I've got like 3 metal drawers. I've got them in there. I've got a little basket. Yeah, I don't know. I probably have like, of decks that aren't this one. I
Just your
probably
collection,
have
yeah.
like 25, maybe, probably 25. But you got to be really, and I have a thing with rocks. So I pick up rocks everywhere. I pick them up like they're in my pockets. I'm that friend that's like, oh, this was in your driveway, and I'm like, hee hee hee, like that's me. So Jean's always like, what is going on? Where did this come from? And I'm like, oh, it's really pretty, And being that we're like right in the desert, there's a lot of rocks in the desert. So he's like, no more rocks.
That's so funny. I do that when I'm at the beach. Like I'll pick up a lot of cool like beach rocks. Like I found this one that was
And
actually,
shells.
yeah, I found one when I was up in Cape Cod that was like actually like a cube, and it looks like this pink
Yeah.
granite. It's gorgeous. Like I was like any crystal
Whoa.
shop could sell this for like good money. It was so pretty.
Yeah.
And that one's like, yeah, that one's on my altar. So I need to make more shelving for my decks for sure, based on what what you're packing.
I have I have a jar of rocks with me from Cape Cod
Very
that
cool.
yeah, I couldn't leave them. And my husband's like, "What are we gonna? They're just rocks." I'm like, "No, these are from Cape Cod. They're special, you know."
That energy is
But
very
I know
special. Yeah.
it is. It is one of the most beautiful places. I do miss the East Coast for that. Just that whole Boston, Martha's Vineyard, like that whole area is just awesome.
It's so calm. It's so calm.
But
It's like the opposite of the Jersey Shore. Not that I have anything
I
against the
love
Jersey
it.
Shore, because I'm
See,
from, yeah.
okay, but like, yeah, if you knew me in the early '90s, my hair was like this big. Like it would not have fit in the picture. My hair was this big. So like, I was born in New Jersey, so
Oh,
it's all
nice,
good.
nice. Well, I was born in
Yeah,
Philly, but I grew up going down to Ocean City, so no
yeah.
hate at all. But
No, 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 no.
yeah, yeah. Tracy was asking, after your deck, what's your favorite deck?
Oh God. I do love the Santa Muerte deck. That is one of my favorites. The Santa Muerte Tarot. I don't know if
Yeah, I
a
have
lot of
seen that
people.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that deck used to actually kind of creep me out a little because it's kind of dark, but I guess the more you get into it, it really isn't. It just shows just a little bit of a different perspective. But that deck is really, really fun. And right now, for my daily card draw, I've been using the Heindel Tarot. Have you ever heard of
I
that? It's a
haven't.
really kind of yeah, it's this really obscure deck. I don't know. I was on the internet in the middle of the night for whatever reason, looking up lists of people's tarot deck collections, and this was on there. And I'm like, let me check it out. And I looked at it, and I was like, I have to have this. And it's super. It's got a lot of symbolism and a lot of stuff that goes with it. It's a deck you need the book.
Hmm.
Like I pull my one card and there I sit with my little book and I'm like, oh, I'm always blown away. Like, so I'm using that deck this month and I'm hoping to get through like at least most of the cards so I can actually read with it a little bit more just for fun because it's got so much in it that I know if I don't study it a little bit, I'll miss a lot of the stuff that's in it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And that's one thing that I guess the general public, and at least I didn't when I started getting into tarot, I didn't realize that every deck really is different. Like they're different, even though it's the same set of cards per se. Every deck, like the symbolism and the focus and the artwork, it just takes you to a different place, right?
Yeah, I do. You mentioned the moon, and there's the deck. Did you ever see? You must have seen the Moon BB Magic Tarot deck
Yes,
by
yes.
Angela Mary Magic. Like it's just what it's like. It's just I don't know. It's got that whole 1989 vibe. Like that's what I
The
remember
year
it.
I was
Like
born.
it's bright. Yeah, yeah, it's here. I graduated from high school. It's bright colored and it's got all of the phases of the moon and I'm learning about the moon and that was one deck that I did order. I don't know if I did the Kickstarter or not. I think I ordered it right after like she had it in stock. And I thought, well, this will be kind of fun. Like, won't this be like a cute little deck? And that deck is super deep. It's super deep.
Yeah.
It's got and it goes by the moon phases. It teaches you a lot of neat stuff. So I really enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, I just wanted to like I know we have a couple of minutes left. I wanted to say thank you so much. Like your energy is like totally contagious and I'm so excited to get this deck and post all about it because I'm incredibly excited. So, you're shipping this summer, right? For
Yep.
this
hmm
next round? Awesome.
From
Awesome. So yeah,
all around the country. Yeah, from like I don't know where
beautiful.
your deck will come from. Florida. It might be Florida. It could be somewhere on the East Coast, depending. But I don't know which city it will ship from. I just know that I'm going to get them here before we leave. So I will just be toting them with me and shipping them around.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Get a little sand in a couple packages. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
I would like some ocean time. That's the one thing we don't have here is the ocean, and I
Mm,
really, really miss the ocean. So I would
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I would definitely,
Oh.
we'll put some sand in there.
Great, great. Well, Jen, thank you so much. We're
You're
all really excited for
welcome.
Not So Mystical Tarot. I think this was like super insightful. And yeah, I'm gonna be posting obviously this video to my account. I'm also gonna do some witchery and put it on TikTok after I kind of play around with it. So I just set
See,
up
you're
this.
cool.
I try, I try.
I don't even have one of those. I don't have one. I'm like afraid of it. I'm like, oh my God, I'll get on that. I can barely Snapchat. I'm like, I'll get on that and it'll be a whole new thing that I like don't know how to do. Like I
It's a
came
little
here and did
addictive.
not know. I
It's
know. I
yeah.
know. And it's like I see them on Instagram and I'm like, oh, those are so cool. But like I came here and did not know like, hey, I should update my app before I like try to do this thing. Like it didn't tell me I needed to update it. So like I'm like, where's the button? Why isn't this working? I'm afraid. I need to be the girl that comes out of the house, you know, like I'm sitting in the house looking out the
There you
screen
go.
going, I don't know, TikTok's scary. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
yeah. Oh, well, we can connect on it. So, thank
I'll
you
work on
again,
it. I'll do
Jen.
it.
Yeah, thank you again,
Thanks.
Jen. It was such a pleasure. Thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, we're so excited to see what comes next.
All
And
right.
have a great
Thank you
weekend,
so,
everyone.
so much.
Yeah, of
You
course, of
too.
course. Bye,
Bye.
guys. Bye.